Hello, Eagle fans. Welcome back to the NCCU Sports Network studios for the NCCU Football Weekend Kickoff Show. I'm Jonathan Duran. We're ready for the Eagles to come on home after a big win against North Carolina A&T down in Charlotte at the Duke's Mayo Classic, 28-13 over the Aggies. The streak is over. The Eagles win for the first time in 6 years against North Carolina A&T, and they do it by pitching a second-half shutout. We'll get a chance to hear from the Eagles head coach, Trei Oliver, and the defensive coordinator, Courtney Coard, about how big it was for the defense to really step up. They basically started and ended the game for North Carolina Central. They forced A&T 3 and out on their first drive, shut out in the second half, forced the Aggies to turn the ball over on downs twice. And the offensive side took care of things. Davius Richard, 254 yards of total offense, 200 passing, 54 on the ground, 4 scores, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. And you'll hear from Eagles offensive coordinator Matt Leone as he talks about how well the Eagles were running like a well-oiled machine, all 6 cylinders kicking for North Carolina Central. We got a good show for you today. We've got head coach Trei Oliver coming up first, and we got a family affair coming here to O'Kelly-Riddick Stadiums. The Eagles and the Rams, longtime rivalry. This is meeting number 46 all-time between the Eagles and the Rams, and North Carolina Central with the win last year pulled ahead in the series 23-22. So North Carolina Central trying to keep it on a win streak and push ahead 2 games up in the series that stretches all the way back to the CIAA days. Let's go ahead and get things started. Here's head coach Trei Oliver. Victorious in week 1 over North Carolina A&T. Coach, it's a good feeling to get a win over your rival as the Eagles getting ready for another one this weekend, but it's got to feel good to get one over the team in Greensboro.
Man, it does. It does. Great day, great week to be an Eagle. I'm so happy for our players and just as happy for our fans. You know, just see our fans that support us and university so much, just for them to be excited and have something to cheer about, makes everything, worth it.
Coach, let's go back and talk about that entire weekend experience. I mean, they really treated us really well for the Duke's Mayo Classic. Really big thanks to the Charlotte Sports Entertainment Group for welcoming us. But we got the tour of 2311. We had the presentation by the Eagle alumni about the Eagle Aggie Classic and all of that. And we got treated really well on Saturday. But Coach, looking back at that experience, how great was it for the team?
Man, it was outstanding. You know, when we recruit the student athletes, we talk about the experiences that you'll be able to have once you come here to North Carolina Central. And I've been coaching for, 23, 24 years now and been a part of a whole lot of classics. And I thought this was first class, the way they had the weekend set up and just the experiences the young men had an opportunity to see. And to be able to play in a venue like the Panther Stadium, it was a special weekend. And then again, like you said, for us to beat up on our rivals, made everything a little bit sweeter.
And Coach, just one last thing off the field for the games. I saw you tweet out about, where else you're going to get this experience when they shut the lights out and did the swag surf with the lights from the phones. Coach, when's the last time you've been at a football stadium where they put the lights out on purpose?
I've had them go out once or twice on accident, and we didn't know when they were going to come back on. So that's the only thing I was praying for, just to make sure those lights came back on. But that might have been a first, I believe. And it was an outstanding experience and that was something. But for our guys to stay locked in, they enjoyed the moment, briefly. And but for those guys to when the lights come back on, for them to get locked back in and continue to execute their assignments, that's when I knew that we've grown up as a team. A couple of years back, the guys would still be out in the field dancing, but they were locked in and they knew their assignment.
Coach, this was a neutral site game at Bank of America Stadium, sold out for the allotment that they had available, over 30,000, but treated it like a home game. You forced North Carolina A&T off the field, 3 and out on their first drive. You come back, you take 8 minutes off the clock and put the ball into the end zone. How big was it to be able to set the tone that early in the game?
That was huge, and that's what we had talked about as a staff in our staff meetings and with the team. Was all offseason we talked about starting fast. Don't get down early. But this week, I challenged the guys. I said, listen, let's set the tempo and let's set the intensity and let's see if North Carolina A&T can match our intensity. And our guys came out of the locker room. I thought we hit them in the mouth first. Our guys not flinch. we weren't second guessing ourselves, guys. I thought the coaches did a great job of having our guys in place and with a great game plan. And the guys executed. It was a physical game. It got a little chippy, but we never panicked. And like I said, they never flinched.
And you mentioned the word tempo. That was something that I actually talked about on Saturday, as that word has been bandied about a lot in college football. You look back to the early 2000s at Oregon when they wanted to run 60 plus plays per game. Coach, you really were able to slow the game down, held onto the ball for 35 minutes. What was the spur in changing from going from the what's become the norm in that hurry up, quick paced offense to slowing it down a little bit?
Well, when you say tempo doesn't always mean fast, fast, fast. Whether it's tempo, it could be slow or fast. So it's about executing. And sometimes people want to go so fast that they're not executing. You can go like Oregon speed and run however many thousand plays a minute, but if you're going 3 and out and not getting positive yards, it doesn't make any sense. So our plan was to execute, and I think we only had 4 possessions in the first half, which isn't usually have at least 6 in the first half, but we executed. I think we scored 3 touchdowns. And the second half, we continued to run the ball and control the clock, and we shut them out in the second half. They didn't score. So, I can't say enough about what Coach Leone, our offensive coordinator, and Coach Coard, our defensive coordinator. We held them to their lowest amount of points since 1988. So, I thought my coordinators and our assistant coaches did an outstanding job.
Jonathan Duran with Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. Let's go ahead and zero in on a few single player performances from the game. Davius Richard, of course, he's easy to look at. 254 yards of total offense, 2 passing TDs, 2 rushing scores. But I really want to go into the part that, he wasn't picky. And we know that he's not picky as a quarterback. He likes to spread the ball around. I think he had, 7 different receivers. And Jamari Taylor was able to get out of the backfield and get a few catches.
Yeah, and I think Pee Wee does a great job of going through his progressions. He doesn't get locked in on one receiver and have a go-to target, and he takes what's open. So whether it's a check down to the running back or the deep ball is there, he'll take that. But he's not going to force a whole lot of balls and make a whole lot of bad decisions. And we talk about protecting the football. That's huge. So we're going to take whatever the defense gives us. And when you see 7 to 8 guys, with receptions, that means that Pee Wee understands, the progression, his reads.
And on the defensive side, Khalil Baker records the first interception of the year, had the big punt block by Jaden Flaker. I mean, the defense really showed out. As you said, pitched a shutout in the second half, and that included 2 forced turnovers on downs in the red zone.
And, that's a testament to, I think, Coach Coard and those guys locking in. That was an unbelievable defensive performance. We shut down their rushing attack, and we knew that we had to be stout versus the run. And, they couldn't beat us throwing the football. So, like you said, Khalil Baker had a huge day. I thought that was probably the best game of his career. And to see young men like that when they just continue to develop and take coaching, that's outstanding. And I thought, we have 2 young DB coaches, Tony McCray, who came from A&T, and Michael Sewell. They had those guys locked in, and they competed.
Jonathan Duran with Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. Coach, 1 rival down, 1 more to go. Winston-Salem State coming to town this weekend. And Coach, you mentioned that last game was a rivalry. This game is a rivalry as well. So what are the Rams looking like as they come here to O'Kelly Riddick?
Ooh, they're going to be I know they're going to be on ready to roll. We were in a dogfight last year, and we had to, pull it out late in the fourth quarter. Coach Robert Massey, I'm sure he'll have the guys, ready to play. They have an outstanding running game. I think they rushed for like 240 some yards last week. So, again, it's going to start up front, and we've got to stop the run. They have a couple of outstanding receivers, the Mobley kid, number 1, and they have 2 other guys that are really shifty. So, we've got to stop the run, and we cannot overlook these folks. This is another big rivalry game. and they're gonna come in here ready to roll. So we cannot underestimate them. And as head coach and our staff, we have to make sure our guys are ready to play this weekend.
All right, Coach, what are the keys for North Carolina Central to be successful here at home?
First of all, we have to start fast. It's going to be a first home game. Our crowd is going to be into it. They've always very supportive, especially at home. So we've got to get our crowd in the game, and we got to jump on them fast. And I think that'll begin from stopping the run first and foremost, win the kicking game, and then we got to make explosive plays on offense.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Let's go get another win this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Eagle football head coach Trei Oliver. Now let's go to the defensive side and speak with defensive coordinator Courtney Coard. Again, a big week for the defense last week, and now they got to go up against a Winston-Salem offense that has a strong runner in the backfield. Coach, congratulations on the win this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jonathan. Huge win for the program and the guys, man. Thank you.
So this Eagle defense, they got to go out first and set the tone for this game. They forced the Aggies 3 and out on their first drive. I mean, how big was that for the defense?
Well, that was the game plan. We met as a staff, and Coach Oliver said, if we have an opportunity, you want to play defense first. And I said, yeah. He said, well, we're going to go 3 and out, put the ball back in the offensive hands, and they're going to go down and score. And that's exactly what we did. So that was the game plan all along. So the guys went out there and executed, and they set the tone on that first drive. So I was happy to see that.
You set the tone in the first drive, and you set the tone in the running game as well, holding A&T to under 100 yards rushing, especially with a quarterback like there and Zach Yeager and Bashil Tootin. I mean, the front four really did their job.
Yeah, we knew we had our work cut out for us. They have a really, really good offensive line. And Tootin is an extremely dangerous football player with the ball in his hands. So we knew we had our work cut out for us. In the last 2 years, school in Greensboro averaged 267 yards on the ground with 6.3 yards per carry. So we knew those numbers going into that game, and we wanted to create an identity. And the identity for us was to be physical, and we want to stop the run. So that 267 was definitely preached to him on a daily basis, and 6.3 yards per carry was definitely preached on a daily basis as well. So they made it known that that wasn't going to happen. So we made it our business to go out there and stop the run.
I think the Eagle defense credited with 3 takeaways on the day, the interception plus 2 turnovers on down, including 1 at the red zone, right at the goal line. Stepped up in critical situations, and the interception also happened within the red zone as well. Red zone defense really stepped up big for North Carolina Central. That's been a calling card for this Eagle team over the last few years, but what made them so good in that final stand?
Well, we've been losing that game for the last couple of years. And us as coaches, we just told the guys, we have to make those guys earn everything that they get. And we had a bend but don't break mentality going into that game. And they had success moving the ball on us, so we definitely have to clean some things up. But we didn't break once we got in the red zone, and I was definitely happy to see that, the way those guys went out there and laid it on the line, and they competed and they fought to the very end of the football game. And that's all we can ask for as coaches, man. So, us as a staff, we were definitely proud of our guys that they went out there and competed the way they did. And that's huge when you can stop a team from putting points on the board, 3 points or 6 points. That's huge. That's a huge momentum killer for the offense and a big momentum gainer for the defense and our team. So that was huge, and we were definitely proud of our guys for going out there competing and fighting to the very end.
And defense and special teams, again, that's something that when you want to talk about it in the MEAC, you usually look at North Carolina Central, whether it's the return game with Brandon Codrington, but another blocked punt for the defense. How do you teach this team to be so good in punt coverage and in punt blocks?
Well, all the credit goes to Coach Bennett. He's a special team coordinator. So he came up with a great game plan, and all the credit goes to the guys that play a part on those teams. So I didn't play any role in special teams. The credit goes to Coach Bennett and all the guys that he orchestrated to be a part of those teams, and they went out there and played their butts off. So kudos to Coach Bennett for coming up with a great game plan to block that punt.
Jonathan Dern with the Eagles defensive coordinator Courtney Coard. North Carolina Central coming home for the home opener. They got Winston-Salem State. Last year, this game was a bit of a dogfight. What have you seen from the Rams?
They're a scrappy football team. They coming in here with a chip on their shoulder. This is a rivalry. And we actually just got out of a meeting with our players, and we really stressed that to them. You came here to play in games like this. What better way to open up a season with both of your rivals, and one of those games being the first home game under the lights, in the nest, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be a great environment. So we understand that this team is they come in here with a chip on their shoulder, and they come in here with some confidence. So we will not take them lightly. So we have to be our very best. Us as coaches have to do a great job of putting our players in position to go out there and be successful. And the players got to go out there and execute the game plan. And we got to play hard for 60 minutes or however long it takes.
And Winston-Salem also in a bit of a similar schedule to North Carolina Central. They had the Hall of Fame game against Central State. So a big game for them in a neutral site, now going into a rivalry game just like us. But, Coach, what are the defensive keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
Well, we definitely have to stop the run again. They had 193 yards on the ground. So we have to be sound up front. We have to maintain our gap integrity, and we have to set edges to the defense. So we definitely going to pride ourselves on stopping the run each and every week. And we have to make corrections. We definitely have to be better. We got to do a good job of getting more hats to the football. Tackling was an issue for us last week. And they have a very good running back. So we understand that Winston has a history and a tradition of having great backs, and that we know they're going to come here and try and get the ball in their playmakers' hands. So we have to do a good job of putting a dent in the line of scrimmage and setting edges to the defense and being gap sound up front.
All right, Coach. I hope that mushroom and oyster sandwich was pretty good for you after that win last week.
Most definitely it was, man.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
That's defensive coordinator Courtney Coard. Next, we have Eagles offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Again, a big week for Davius Richard last week. 254 yards of total offense, spread it out across 8 different receivers. Talk a little bit about how Davius is able to sit there in the pocket and be able to spread the ball out and get everybody involved as he talks about his development and what's next for the Eagle offense. Coach, congratulations on the win. It's got to feel pretty good to get a win over North Carolina A&T.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciate that. The guys played hard. I thought the coaching staff did a great job as far as getting the guys prepared. And then they went out there and they executed and played well.
Coach, the Eagles really got off to a great start. That first drive, it takes up 8 minutes. Second drive takes 7 minutes. He had the ball for 15 minutes. He get 14 points out of it. And you just stuck to the game plan. But, I mean, what really was it about being able to hold on to the ball for that long in those first 2 drives?
It came down to the players just executing. I thought we were really good in situational football, understanding what the situation was and what we were trying to accomplish per the play call. And I thought the players were tremendous. There was a couple times where we might have got behind the chains, and we did a good job coming back and making up for whether it was a penalty or a negative play. And then we executed on third down when we needed it the most.
Coach, we got to meet Jamari Taylor on Saturday, got out the backfield for a couple of catches as well. He seems like he's a very versatile back.
He is. He's going to be a great player here for us at North Carolina Central. And he had a great spring ball, great camp, great summer workout. So we knew he was ready for the spotlight.
Davius Richard with a huge game as well. 254 yards of total offense, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it seemed like everything was working for him. How has he been able to get himself ready and keep improving to get to the point where he is now?
He's just a mature young man. He works very hard at it. He's put the time in this summer as far as extra film study and really just trying to get better every day at his craft. He's a detail-oriented young man, And he strives for perfection every day, and you see that in his growth. He's always trying to find ways to get better, and never satisfied with his past game or past accomplishments. He's always trying to find something that's going to help him improve for the next and upcoming game.
And you're talking about the upcoming game. What is something that you think that this offensive unit can hang their hat on and take with them going forward for the rest of the season from their performance in week one?
Not get too high or too low. Just be in the moment. Take it one play at a time, and understand the situation. And I think that's what I'm really proud of is the guys just stayed in the moment and they executed again. And we talk about situational football and how important that is. And when you look at how we performed on third down, that was huge. When you looked at how we performed in the red zone, that was big. And then when you looked at short yardage situations, we executed there as well. So if we continue to do that, we're going to have a lot of success offensively and as a football team.
Jonathan Duran with the Eagles offensive coordinator Matt Leone. North Carolina Central coming home to get ready for Winston-Salem State. One rival already done. Next rival coming up. What have you seen from the Rams?
They're a talented group. They returned some experience up front from last year. They got 2 defensive ends back and an interior defensive tackle. They play extremely hard. They got some good length on defense at their safety positions. And, they a lot like our last opponent, they keep it simple so that they can play fast on defense. And so good football team. They came in here last year and played extremely hard. So we're expecting them to come in and do the same exact thing. And we got to be ready for the energy that they're going to bring. And we got to match that and play good football.
All right, Coach, what are the offensive keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
We got to get off to a fast start, and we want to establish the running game. We got to do better there, and then continue to build on playing good situational football, understanding what we're trying to accomplish per the situation, and execute in those situations. First down, third down, red zone, whatever the situation may be, understand what we're trying to accomplish.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the win. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Jonathan.
That's Eagles offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Before that, defensive coordinator Courtney Coard and head coach Trei Oliver at the top of the program. All right, it is Saturday in the Bull City, Saturday night. That's what we usually do for the first home game of the season. It's usually pretty hot, so we like to guard against that. Today, not so much. 6 o'clock kickoff, 74 degrees, heavy rain in the forecast. Make sure you bring a jacket if you're coming out here to O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. If you're tailgating, you're going to need that jacket as well. If you're cooking out at home, you'll probably be okay. But yeah, you're going to need a jacket tonight. 74 degrees, rain all throughout the evening. It's going to be a bit tough today, but that's what the weather's looking like. Let's see what's going on around the MEAC. It's North Carolina Central, of course, kicking off against Winston-Salem State here, 6 o'clock in the Bull City. We have a meeting between old MEAC foes, South Carolina State and Bethune-Cookman at 4 o'clock. Norfolk State at James Madison, as the Dukes will look to have a reign over the in-state rivalry between the Spartans and James Madison. That game's at 4. 6 o'clock tonight, Delaware State at Delaware, the battle of the first state. That'll be up in Wilmington. Morgan State at Towson, the battle of Baltimore as well, 7 o'clock tonight. And then Howard at USF, 7 o'clock tonight as well. That's what's on the docket for the MEAC tonight. North Carolina Central trying to stretch a 4-game win streak, stretching back to last season into 5 with the win against Winston-Salem State. That game tonight at 6. We hope that you'll join us on ESPN+, and we'll see you next week. I'm Jonathan Duran. Have a good weekend. Go Eagles.